What if I told you the path to $1 million could start with just 70 cents? Yeah, I know. It sounds a little crazy. But today, we're going to break down how one simple habit, just tracking the miles you drive, could be the very first step on an incredible journey to financial freedom. And trust me, the math might just blow your mind. So let's just get right to it. Is it actually possible? Can logging your drives for, say, DoorDash or Uber really put you on the path to becoming a millionaire? Well, let's unpack that. It all starts with a hidden cost that catches most gig workers completely by surprise. To even begin to answer that question, we have to talk about something crucial and honestly often overlooked. It's this financial hurdle for anyone who's self-employed. Think of it like a hidden tax that can take a massive bite out of your earnings if you're not ready for it. It's called the self-employment tax. And here's the thing, this isn't your regular income tax. Nope, it's an extra 15.3% that independent contractors have to pay to cover things like Social Security and Medicare. If you earn more than $400 from a side hustle, you're on the hook for it. Okay, let's make this super real with an example. Picture a part-time DoorDash driver making about $10,000 a year. Now, because of the standard deduction, their income might be low enough that they owe zero in federal income tax. But that 15.3% self-employment tax, oh, that's a whole different story. It still applies. So, how do you fight back against that tax bite? Well, this is where our strategy really kicks in. It's a simple, totally legal, and ethical way to lower what you owe. And it all comes down to the miles you drive. Let's see how this thing builds. All right, let's start running some numbers. Our driver, let's say they cover about 10,000 miles in a year doing their deliveries. That might sound like a lot, but for many gig workers, that's pretty typical. Now, here's the key number. The IRS lets you deduct a certain amount for every single business mile you drive. And right now, that rate is a cool 70 cents per mile. Remember that number, it's kind of the hero of our story. So you do the simple math, right? You take those 10,000 miles, multiply it by 70 cents a mile, and boom, that gives you a $7,000 deduction. That's $7,000 you get to subtract right off the top of your taxable income. And which tax does this deduction apply to? Well, you guessed it. It goes right up against that pesky 15.3% self-employment tax we were just talking about. This is how you lower that specific bill. So, what's the bottom line here? That $7,000 deduction saves our driver $1,071 in taxes for the year. Just think about that for a second. That's over $1,000 back in their pocket just for keeping a log of their drives. Okay, $1,000 is awesome. It's great, but it's not $1 million, not yet anyway. This is where the real magic happens. We're going to take that small, consistent saving and see what happens when you just give it time. So instead of just spending that saved tax money, what if our driver invests it every single year, like clockwork? For our little thought experiment, we'll use a pretty standard historical market return, let's call it 8%, to see how this small amount could just snowball. And this, my friends, is the jaw-dropping power of compounding. After just 10 years of investing that tax saving, you'd have about $15,000. Pretty cool. Stick with it for 30 years, now you're looking at over $120,000. But what if you make this a lifelong habit? After 50 years, that small, disciplined act, born from just tracking miles, crosses the $1 million mark. That is the snowball effect in all its glory. Okay, that timeline is seriously exciting. But before we all rush out to start a delivery gig, we need a major dose of reality. Is it really that simple? Let's be real. The source material for this is crystal clear on this point. This single strategy, all by itself, is not some golden ticket. It's a fantastic tool for sure, but it's just one tool in a much, much larger toolbox you need to build real wealth. So let's just lay it all out there. The dream we all want is a magic bullet, an easy trick for fast wealth. But the reality of becoming a millionaire, it's a slow, disciplined, and sometimes kind of boring plan. It takes a whole lot more than just one good idea. It needs a comprehensive approach. So the big takeaway here is that tracking your miles is an absolutely brilliant first step. It proves the concept, it shows you how small, smart decisions can have a huge impact down the road. But it is just that, a first step on a much, much longer journey. And this brings us to what I think is the most important lesson of this entire explainer. It's not really about the tactic, it's about the mindset behind it. What is the real secret that this whole 70-cent strategy actually reveals? So what's the real lesson? It's that building wealth isn't about finding a magic trick. It's about adopting a certain mindset. It's the mindset that truly gets that small, consistent actions are what lead to massive results over time. It's choosing the discipline of investing that $1,000 instead of some flashy purchase. And the goal isn't just to hit some number in a spreadsheet, it's about building real, lasting security. And that entire journey, it can start by just paying attention to the small details, like 70 cents a mile. So what does this mean for you right now? Well, the path forward is pretty simple. First, you start small. Track your miles or find your own version of that one small saving you can automate. Second, you build the habit. You invest that saving consistently, no matter how tiny it feels. And finally, you expand the plan. Once that habit is locked in, you can start focusing on earning more and finding other smart strategies to speed up your journey to financial security. And that's really the question I want to leave you with. Because this isn't just about some clever tax trick. It's a call to action. What is your 70-cent strategy? What's the one small, consistent habit you can start today? Because that is where the $1 million journey truly begins. Thanks for joining me.